The administration shared that CAS results were available and live to the public. We had reviewed our CAS data in August, but it was not available publicly then. Next, staff feedback was shared on the implementation of the Step Up to Writing program. We've talked about that before to improve our writing across all grades, TK to 8. So we can implement a strong writing program there at CECA. And then admin shared the data review process for teacher collaboration and shared some ideas that teachers had to use a Google form and data in a timely manner so they can make adjustments for their kids. Last, we were given updates on some projects like the baseball field, weightlifting equipment, a kinder shed, and quad stage. Thank you. Any questions?
Right, are there any items from the consent calendar that need to be pulled by every member? Seeing none, can I get a motion for approval on the consent calendar?
Move to approve.
Second?
Second.
First by David Avila and a second by Clerk Miller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes with a 5-0 vote. And item number 5.01, this is information regarding the state of California Prop 28, the Arts and Music in Schools Funding Guarantee and Accountability Acts. Do you have any additional information on that?
Yes, Mr. Mead is coming up. Thank you, President Bogue. Mr. Mead is coming up to give his information regarding Prop 28 funds and annual plan.
Good evening. Board President Bogue, members of the board, Superintendent Meeks, members of cabinet, thank you for having me here this evening to talk about our Prop 28 share out for the annual report. So go ahead and jump in, a little background. A little bit of background on Prop 28. So this is approved in November of 2022, and it is part of Prop 98 guaranteed funding for schools, really to focus on arts and music in schools. It's on a 3-year cycle. It started back in 23-24, and it has the following requirements. So we're going to make sure that we have just one more there. A plan for total spending of the funds. We have to make sure that 80% of those funds go to personnel. The other 20% can go towards training and supplies. It can supplement, it can supplant. So at CECA, we're lucky to have a music program and an art program established. So we're able to expand on that program. And then finally, just an annual report like we're talking about here today in the fiscal audits. So for CECA, we had approximately $97,000 that we received. 50% of that went to our new music teacher that we are sharing with Parkview Middle School, Mr. Bata, which has really allowed us to expand our music program and add a band, which has been great. We know that they performed here a couple of times. It turns out to get instruments in the hands of a band is very pricey, and so we were happy to use a lot of those funds to make sure that our students had new instruments, and now expanded even further down to 6th grade. So all of our 6th grade students will not only have choir, but they'll have bands and be exposed to instruments, which has been great. So we have the split credential music teacher, startup instrument purchase, our theater materials. So we have a musical theater program that Ms. Gray puts on. We've also performed for the board a couple of times. And so we've really been able to expand that program. We don't have an auditorium. We have a pretty small NPR, but we've been able to kind of transition that into a pretty cool little theater with some great lighting and sound. And goes right along with BJ Hurst. If you haven't seen BJ Hurst for our dances and things like that, it's really expanded what we're able to do at our school despite the area that we have. We've also done video production, camera equipment for Grizzly News for a yearbook. We've done graphic design tablets, 3D printers this year, and so just really trying to expand that program. So we were able to maintain what we had as far as art music at the school and enhance it further. Like we talked about new instruments and things of those things like that. But really taking what we had that has become a little bit outdated and kind of catch up with our students and with our personnel at the school. So for 25-26, we're going to continue to share that music teacher contract. We're going to expand our music opportunities down into fifth grade. So our fifth grade students are going to be exposed to band as well. Additional supplies for our music and art programs and contribute growth with different supplies for our different electives and after school programs. Any questions?
Questions? I have a quick question.
Yes.
For your fifth graders, do you have any ideas how you're going to expand with them, involving them in the band or?
Yes, so we have a purchase order in for fifth grade as well. So every student will get to choose an instrument that they'd like to try during their fifth grade year. We only see them a couple times a week in fifth grade for music, and so it'll allow them to kind of choose their instrument for sixth grade where they'll get to see their music teacher more often.
I just love this. I love that we're able to do this. Not every kid wants to do sports. And so this gives them an opportunity to do something else and maybe just try it to see. And I just love having some extra money through this 28 to offer this. So I love it. Love it.
Is it ongoing then?
So after this 3 years, yes, this initial 3 years to kind of set up, and now hopefully we continue to receive the same amount.
That'd be wonderful. I'd love to see you go down to fourth grade and do the recorders so that all the parents really love us.
I was gonna ask.
If you want to record it now.
Ask them on the fifth grade.
You have to record this.
Bring them on, I probably can place.
Anything else? Any other questions? Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, moving on to section 6, any additional administrative information?
I would just share that Mr. Mead has a healthy budget that he is working through, and while we have Mr. Klein and Mr. Johnson in our audience, they are working with him to help kind of guide what we're able to do at Competitive Edge. And so there's the advisory committee that he has and his parent groups, and so we're trying to work together with them and with Joe to do what we can to improve the campuses. So I wanted to make sure that we shared his healthy budget and acknowledge the work that Dennis and Anna are doing to help try to accommodate some of those, the wish list.
Thank you. Board member comments?
Good job.
Like a well-oiled machine, just run.
John? All right, that being said, meeting is adjourned at 6:18. We're going back in.
Yeah.
I'd like to call the Crawford County Mesa Joint Unified School District Regular Board of Education meeting for Tuesday, October 14th to order at 6:34. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome everyone. Are there any, I'd like to note that all board members are present. Are there any adjustments to the agenda?
There are no changes this evening.
Seeing none, can I get a motion for approval for the agenda?
So move.
Second. First by board member Avila, second by board member Bannister. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. We do have something to report out in closed session. In closed session, the Board of Education took action on a motion made by David Avila and a second by Sharon Bannister, followed by a 5-0 vote to appoint Sophia Wagner to the position of Dean of Students for Dunlap Elementary School. Wagner, would you like to come up and say a few things? Welcome. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right, we are on session 4. I'd like to call up Superintendent Callie Hinks.
Thank you very much. For probably the past 12 years, we've been doing site visits in all different kinds of iterations. We work with our union presidents to kind of find out what the need is. And so this year, we have a little presentation for you. We want to share with you the beginnings of a new beginning of some things that we're trying out. And so Mr. Stolberg had a really fun, it was like the best day ever. It was Alexander, he had a very bad day. This was Alexander's best day ever. So, but we're going to start with this one. So this is how we started our school year. This is, if we could go back, this is, thank you. This is child nutrition. If you couldn't guess, this is their opener for their staff development. So we were able to go and take advantage of a picture. The ladies were, and the gentlemen there they're very shy. They didn't want to be in the pictures with us. We tried, but we honored their requests. And we were able to go and visit. It was held at Chapman Heights, and we had the opportunity to just listen in on a little bit of their training that they were having that day, and also enjoy welcoming our child nutrition team back. So that was a great start to our school year. So. All right. So we're going to tag team this because there are times that we can't all go. And so you're going to hear from each one of us a little bit different.
Sure. Okay, thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about when we went to Dunlap Elementary School just a little while ago. When we were at Dunlap, it was amazing to see the student-centered learning. We saw a lot of our, I'll say, educators, because we went in and had an opportunity to see Miss Hammond, our speech therapist, work with students. And also all of our teachers in working with small groups, and then also a lot of problem solving activities that we got to see, even with their PE teacher over at Dunlap. And it was amazing. It was a really awesome opportunity, especially seeing the different staff members, Ms. Torrey is a counselor as well, all around the campus, and see how everyone is involved in some sort of way in our students' learning.
We also had the opportunity to look at the facilities, some of the work that the team has been doing with solar, as well as just maintenance in general. And so working with the secretaries to make sure that work orders are in for some of the things that we might notice as we go in, almost like a Williams team. So stained ceiling tiles, things that maybe that are there every day, but they're not reported. And so we took notes of those things. And then also, of course, you see Mrs. Quartz up there, the librarian. We visited a speech, we visited the special education classrooms, talked with the cafeteria staff and then the office staff. And really, one of the things that we noted is that there were teachers that were working on programs, so they were doing music and singing, and there were lots of direct instruction, and it was very calm. It was just a very, very peaceful, calm campus. So that was Dunlap, and I think Mr. Scholes is gonna talk about. Nope, Jamie's gonna talk about Valley.
I was gonna also talk about Valley. The pictures here from Valley were when the school hosted their Million Fathers March. And that's the event, that's a national event around the world, and it's talking about the importance of fathers walking their students to school. And it was amazing. I appreciate Mr. Rexstad and the Valley staff welcoming me with this great opportunity, because you saw even from last year to this year, the increase of attendance of our fathers, and that also included our district employees. And you can see Mr. Perez, our principal at Mesa View, also there, but also our district employees, Mr. Ryan and Mr. Kirkland, Mr. Klein with us, and Mr. Bradley went as well. And it was amazing to see how the community came together. Also we had community members from Calamasa also attended, and it's amazing to see how Valley has created such a community within their school. It's not just about learning, but it's about involving our community members and their family members as a part of that learning for our students. So thank you for that.
We visited Wildwood. We started out checking in on the temp kitchen and the cafeteria staff as they go through the remodel, which is a great, remodel is only good when it's done. But they were doing well. We spent some time in a TK classroom. We wanted to see how that was going, and we were able to support the teacher a little bit. And one of the yard duty aides that was inside the class offering support for behaviors. We saw Mrs. Goldstein, Reno Curtis in the library. We talked with Mrs. Kamansky, who had her class in the library. We saw our speech therapist, and our school psychologist, Carrie Rexstad, and we were able to catch up with Becky Peterson, our principal, who was in classrooms supporting for behavior. So we were able to walk with her at the end. And then we watched a yard duty do an amazing job. Mr. Mai, he did an amazing job with a student that needed a lot of support. And he has been PCM trained, which is the training that we use to help support students when they need to have just a physical hand to, help them to calm down. And it was just a really nice visit to see all that. We saw Mrs. Labani, we saw Jenna Beck, and we saw Dana Miller. And when we stayed a lot longer than anticipated, but that's what it's like when you go with me. They know, don't schedule anything after. So it was a great Wildwood day.
All right, along the bottom, we had an opportunity to join the Mesa View team at their back to school night. Those two pictures on the bottom left, wonderful turnout in Mesa View. They had parents, they had students, the teachers were in their rooms. Parents weren't on a schedule, they could go wherever they wanted to see whatever teachers they wanted to see during that time. We were joined by board member Avila, board member Cruz, and board member Bannister on that day, and board member Miller. So got into a lot of classrooms. The one on the bottom left, we had a chance to see Mike Bennett, math teacher, sixth grade teacher extraordinaire. The horse Miles Mustang, but he was sort of kind of going around welcoming kids, giving them high fives as they went around. We had a chance to go into their new wellness center. We had a chance to see their special education classrooms, see Mrs. McMurtry, see Mr. Esker working in their environments. Got to see work that Mr. Myers was doing. It was really great opportunity. We also, if you'll notice, in the middle picture, Mr. Huddick, he is the STEM teacher at Mesa View. He's in his element there, working in his STEM lab, building things, breaking things, blowing things up, putting them back together again. Kids love that. And what was really neat about visiting that evening is we saw teachers engaging with kids and family members in a less formal, more kind of honest way to have conversations. It wasn't just telling families about their class, they get to have conversations about their class. And then on the bottom right, board member Evelyn and I had an opportunity to see the Mesa View music program in action last week. That's music director Paul Hain. If you don't already know, he directs 3 bands and a choir, 4 great groups of kids, working at Mesa View. He does have some support. We have a BAPA support specialist also helping Mr. King, but his bands are incredible. And what was really standing out, I think, board member Avila mentioned it to me, we have students who are in the very beginning band, they're 6, 7 weeks in, and they can actually play things. It was really incredible. And then his choir, a group of about 20 young ladies, they sounded amazing. He talked about how they're gonna have an opportunity if the application process goes through to go to Disneyland, to one of the recording studios in Disneyland to record. The choir gets to do a recording there to shoot for that. But Mesa View was dynamic, engaging, really great place for kids and families when we had a chance to visit. At the top, CE, a competitive edge. I had an opportunity to tour classes with Mr. Mead, and what's really important when we go to competitive edge is we want to make sure we see the middle years program and the primary years program. We all love going into the TK and K and sitting there with the littles. Sometimes we spend maybe more time than we should there, but in this particular case, we focus on going to the middle years program, seeing Mr. Dodson doing a co-teaching class with Sarah Gray, the special education teacher. We had a chance to see Mr. Cauldron, the science teacher, doing a lesson, a physics lesson, having the kids engage with their Chromebooks and data they had collected working together. In the middle of the top picture, we saw Ms. Collins. She is one of the 2 music teachers at CECA. She was doing a sing-along lesson. I think those were 3rd graders on the floor, and she was going through the song and song repeat, and Mr. Reed and I tried to follow along, but we weren't quite trained for that. It was really great. Far left, Miss Warren, I think it's a 1st grade kindergarten class, doing great stuff with Haggerty, going through the long and short vowel sounds and things like that, because we're super engaged with that. Always a good visit to CECA, a lot of good things going on. Okay, so Yucaipa High School, congrats to Mr. Jervis and his team there. We had many board members there. Probably, in my experience, one of the best back to school nights, parent nights that Yucaipa High School has ever had. Definitely a showcase feel where teachers in each department got to showcase highlights about their team. One of the pictures there is the entire Cry Rock CTE program. They came in force, they got to show their offerings. Ms. Molina got to talk about wood shop. We have the auto shop class there in the bottom right. Parents had an opportunity to talk to the teacher and see the tools and see the gadgets, and see the things that make those classes engaging. And I don't know if the 2 of you wanted to add.
I know, Mrs. Elliott's in the room, and they, at the science team together, they were building molecules, I believe. Was it molecules? Yes, they were molecules, and I got scared because I didn't think I could pass Mrs. Elliott's test, so we did not know, and then I moved on to the CPR booth. That one I thought maybe I could do, and I don't know if I was successful resurrecting that guy either, so but it was a really great opportunity. We spent some time in Mr. Lacey's room and had the opportunity to hear the parents just ooh and awe about what his room looks like. It's not a traditional looking classroom, and so the way he has it set up, just it was like, this is not what I remember when I was in school. There was a lot of those comments, and so that was fun. And then I also had the opportunity to go to Yucaipa High School to support our admin team and to work through some of our district initiatives and what they look like at the site level, especially at the high school, being a 1 high school town for a comprehensive, and spend time with Dan and his team to help support them. So
one last thing is I had the opportunity to see Mr. Pressler's fall performance with our band, and they were absolutely amazing. I think I'm just in awe on their gifts, but already at this point in the school year, kind of echoing what Mr. Alvo and Mr. Stoltz said, it was a wonderful opportunity to attend that with Mr. Jervis.
I'm gonna start this one. We, in talking with ways that we can work in the classrooms differently and visit differently. Is that me? Thank you. Mr. Stolz and I had the opportunity to do our first round of ESGI testing. And this is testing that is educational testing to guide instruction. And our TK teachers, they have to teach they have to assess every student individually. So we had the opportunity, and we did this by sign up, so that it's up to them if they want to invite us in. And Mrs. Ivory at Calamasa was one of the first ones to sign up. Now Jamie and Jim went through extensive training, but that was on Board Agenda Review Day. And so I got trained on the job. I got OTJ, on the job training. OTJ. Yeah, I got it. And so, so Mr. Stoll set a good example for me, and we were calling the students back, and we were able to work with them on their name recognition. We then moved on to a few other tests. We went to Mrs. Anderson's class at Valley and then Mrs. Myers' class, and we were able to do kinder. We did sight words, letter sounds, long vowels, short vowels, counting. Counting was, I had a student count to 100. Was very proud. He did a really good job, and he was really proud of himself as well. Do you want to reflect on that too as well?
Yeah, it was, I mean, it's always great being in the K and TK classes, but seeing the skills that these little 3, 4, and 5-year-olds have, seeing how the teachers work with that, stretching their skills. You know, Callie had a student to count to 100. I had one count to 50 and said, "That's good enough. I know how it goes from there." So I said, "That's good." And this is a TK. He is 4 years. One of the tests is you had to identify shapes. Did you know that kindergartners have to know the difference between a cylinder and a sphere and a circle and a cube and a square?
Yeah.
That's a little intimidating. I went to HR and I gave them all the tests before I went to the kindergartners, and some of them said, "It's a little bit of test anxiety. Like, what if I say it wrong?" No, it was a great opportunity. And what I think Callie and I liked the most, and I'll speak, if it's okay for me to say, not only did we get to visit the class, interact with the kids, interact with the teachers, but we did something that benefited the teacher. To do that, it probably took 30, 40 minutes that the teacher got to do something else while we got to be doing something useful. That was really important.
At least we think it benefited the teacher. We will find out, Chris, if it didn't, but it was really awesome. And so we actually, in all the times that we have visited classrooms, I think it was one of the most meaningful, not only to see to work with the students, because that was great. Although last time we were at Calamasa, we were mistaken for grandma and grandpa. So, but that's okay. That's all right. We'll take it. It could be worse. But also to see the talent of our teachers while, so we're not just standing there at the door, but we just were able to, as we're calling students back, we're watching them just do amazing things with our students, and our instructional aides were doing amazing things. And so we were happy all day. So it was great. So we're going to be we'll continue on with our last two, but just so you're aware, we will be doing this and reflecting on our visits at every board meeting, so that you can hear the great things that are going on.
Well, let me jump in. We also we paid a visit to Chapman Heights. Thank you to Ms. Guillen and her team. We had an opportunity to see several classes there. It was great for you taking us around. In particular, we went to the PE classroom in elementary. It was great that our students had an opportunity to get PE. And we had a chance to meet the coach and the PE aide, Ms. Shoffett. And in that particular picture, Ms. Parisi is picking up her kids. It was just a great way to see all the other things, the academic things, but the STEAM and PE things happening at Chapman Heights. In the middle, we had an opportunity to visit Parkview on their back to school night also. And a big shout out to our child nutrition team at all of the back to school nights. Child nutrition team had a booth similar to that, some literature, some fruits, some treats. See Dr. Anderson's photo bombing that in the photo. But I really appreciate Ann and Kevin and Liliana from the child nutrition team participating in a way that was meaningful to our families. And then you want to talk about the last one?
And our last one over to the right, that is our vocational transition program. And that's our program doing the ribbon cutting with our students over at the adult school campus. It was a great opportunity to be there with their parents and the students, and to also have a little bit of an open house to walk classrooms. And it was a wonderful opportunity to be a part of that.
How many vertices in a square? You don't have to answer, it's okay. It's a question.
16.
16. Thank you.
Square?
Thank you. Yes, square. Square.
It's not just-
All right, moving on to section 5, recognitions. Jamie Anderson.
At this time, I'd like to call up our Executive Director of Student Services, Ms. Kathy Pearson. And she's going to help to talk about the inclusion ribbon and the award that our Early Childhood Education Center received. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Kathy Bowe, board members, Superintendent Kelly Dees, and cabinet for taking the time to recognize our amazing preschool for earning an inclusion ribbon through East Valley SELPA. They're also known as the Early Childhood Educational Center, also ECEC. It's a tongue twister. So preschool ECEC, but that's where we are. All right, so I just kind of we're excited to share why we earned this ribbon. So I'm going to hand it over to Janice Stewart and Beth Ecker Martinez.
Hi, my name is Janice Stewart and I am Special Education Coordinator and I also serve as Site Administrator for ECEC, also with our Early Childhood Education Center. Many of you might wonder why a school district offers a preschool. School districts are required to provide special education services to students who are identified as eligible for those services between the ages of 3 and 22. The Early Childhood Center or Education Center includes our Early Childhood Assessment Team, which is our school psychologists and our speech and language pathologists. In addition, we provide instruction for students who qualify for special education. However, one important component that was missing was the opportunity for our students with IEPs to interact with peer models. Thanks to the dedication of our team, we have successfully created and implemented a preschool program that allows students with IEPs to engage with typically developing peers. So I'm going to have that explained a little bit.
Hi, I'm Beth. I'm the school psychologist. So through years of planning and adjusting and everything, our district is the first and only district in EV SELPA to win an inclusion ribbon for preschool. And that's really, really hard to do. So our program has 2 support needs classes, 5 speech and language classes, and 4 inclusion classes, which are about half of our general education peers and half of the students are on IEPs. And we have been amazed by the growth that our students have made since we've had general education peers on campus. It's really helped them be better prepared for TK, and we are super close to meeting our state indicators. We have just such an amazing team that works well together, and we are excited to continue to improve and grow. And if any of you have 3 or 4-year-olds who are not eligible for TK, send them our way.
All right, thank you. We're always looking for more students. So at this point, we have some awards or some recognition certificates that we would like to pass out to our amazing preschool team. Not all of them are here, but we will recognize all of them, but we're going to recognize the ones who are here first. All right. So if you hear your name, please come forward. We have Katie Holt, our special education teacher. Beth Lydia, special education teacher. Jennifer Oliver, our special education. Beth Edgar Martinez, our field psychologist. Kayla Davis, our speech and language pathologist. Heidi Taylor, our other speech and language pathologist. And our very own special education coordinator, Janice Stewart.
That's true. Everybody ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Do any of our board members have any comments?
I just want to say, so this is really awesome that we can provide services to students that were identified so young and give them a jump on their education. I'm kind of concerned because of the Department of Education being dismantled and especially the Americans with Disability Act being disregarded. So I'm concerned that we'll be able to continue these programs because it depends a lot on federal funding. And I think that as members of our community, this is a very, very important program and it's threatened. And I think we should be aware of that. Thank you.
Before you guys leave, I want to thank your students for this wonderful art on the wall. I said, that's them, right? But I love the creativity with just a face and some teeth and eyes, and every single one of them looks different. So
And geometric shapes, that's what I
everything, yes. Yes, so what creativity and imagination that your kiddos have. So great job, guys.
Anyone else? All right. Moving on to public comments, we have 4 members of the community that would like to speak tonight, none of which are on the agenda, so each member will have 3 minutes to say what they need to say. I'd like to call up Michael, is it Herdman? Michael Herdman from Yucaipa Disposal. Welcome, Mr. Herdman.
Thank you, it's Huffman. So, good evening, members of Madam President, members of the board. My name is Michael Huffman from Vertec Waste Industries, also known as Yucaipa Disposal. And this evening, I'd just like to share with you and take a couple of minutes to talk about our newest education tool, our school activity packet, all about waste and recycling, which you have in front of you this evening. So some of you may recall Senate Bill 1383 was implemented back in 2022, and one of the goals of Senate Bill 1383 was to divert 75% of organic waste away from the landfill. So in an effort to achieve that goal, as you can imagine, education is an important component. It's making sure we can hit those numbers statewide. So in an attempt to share some of that education and outreach to grades TK through 2nd, Vertec has created our school activity packet that you have all about waste and recycling. And in the packet, what you'll find is if you open up the top, you have a lesson plan for teachers. Now, we're not teachers, so we did our best to make sure. On the inside flap, there's also a QR code that'll take you to Vertec's Kids Corners, where parents and teachers can download PDFs of the activity sheets that are contained inside the school activity packet. We also have our illustrated storybook called Barrels of Fun that has our 3 main characters featured in our storybook. Our black barrel for trash, our blue barrel for recycling, and our green barrel for organics. In the story, the barrels talk about what goes inside each container and where the containers are taken to, which facility. And in the case of the blue barrel and the green barrel, what new recycling products they become once they're recycled. We also have activity sheets that you have in the packets. The activity sheets include word searches, coloring pages. There's also counting exercises. And they're also included in the kids corner, so they can be downloaded and copied and reproduced by parents and teachers. And then we have posters that are available. The posters are for the high traffic areas that teachers, students can see to remind them of what goes where and what goes into each container when they're on campus. And so we'd just like to, again, share this with the board and really thank the superintendent and the Department of Educational Services for the collaboration, and let the board know that there are about 150 of these packets now in classrooms throughout the district. They were provided by Pertec at no additional charge, and we're really excited about teaching today's young recyclers about recycling and sustainability, with the hope that one day they'll become the leaders of sustainability in tomorrow. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. As a grandmother, I want to thank your company, your drivers. My grandson is obsessed with trash trucks, obsessed. And every time we go out to watch the trash truck, the driver waves and honks, and I appreciate that so much.
Well, thank you.
Also, just real fast, is Richard Nino still around?
He is. Richard is our chief operating officer.
Oh,
Still
nice.
with Berkeley.
All right.
Yes, yes. Good to see you. Richard.
See you later.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And I'll leave this out on the back for any parents who'd like to see it. There'll be one out there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, Miss Addie Miller.
Evening. I have some documents for you, so I'm gonna pass them out before I get started. Now, I don't want this to intimidate you, but there's a lot of papers in it. It's not something you need to read through, but it's educational, and I think it'll support what I bring to this meeting. There are some reflective questions and vocabulary in here. I'm learning as a substitute. That is very helpful in the classroom. So maybe you guys can benefit from it too. I'm sorry, I only have one left. Or two.
You can share.
Testing. Okay. Good evening, board members, superintendent Binks, cabinet members, community members, fellow school staff, and educators. My name is Addie Miller, and I've had the honor of subbing in the Yucaipa School District for nearly a year. I see a lot. Every day I walk into a new room with new students, new challenges, and new lessons. And through it all, my goal stays the same: help students connect with their learning and feel seen. One issue that continues to stand in the way of that connection is, dare I say it, phones. Dun, dun, dun. I wouldn't be standing here tonight if I didn't believe it was urgent. Phones have become a default escape, a way for students to disconnect the moments when they're bored, frustrated, or even slightly uncomfortable, or even challenged. I see it daily, students scrolling TikTok, messaging during lessons, or zoning out entirely. The result, low quality work, shorter attention spans, and fewer meaningful interactions in the classroom. Now, I'm not ignoring the students who use their phones responsibly. They exist, or the positive augmentation for life that comes from phone use. But the larger hindering trend, having constant phone access, is harming learning. And honestly, as educators, we're tired of fighting for their attention. But here's something important. We can't just blame the phones. Are students disengaged because they're on their phones? Or are they on their phones because they're already disengaged? Are our assignments and systems inspiring creativity or just compliance? Are we offering students purpose or just policy? We're seeing a generation that's deeply connected to the world, yet often disconnected from their own education due to lack of quality. And that's not just a discipline issue, that's a design issue. If we don't evolve how we teach, we'll keep losing their attention, no matter how strict our policies are. I was recently in a Mesa View Middle School class where the students were working through an IXL lesson about media bias, credibility, and critical thinking online. It was powerful. Most of them hadn't even considered how easily misinformation spreads, or how tech can manipulate us when we're unaware. That's the kind of discussion that sticks. But it only happened because they were guided without distractions into thinking deeply. So yes, I believe the district should implement a clear phone policy, but not to punish, to protect learning, and also to teach students digital responsibility, something they're not born knowing. Here's what I suggest. I'm almost done. Phones away during class unless directed by a teacher, but allowed during lunch or passing periods. Reasonable consequences for misuse, not extreme, but consistent. Number 3, build student ownership through goals, time management, and mindfulness. Number 4, teach about tech's impact on mental health, attention, and connection. Number 5, partner with teachers and parents so expectations are modeled and reinforced. Technology isn't going away, but with thoughtful policy and shared commitment, we can prepare students not just to use tech, but to lead with it, and through it, support our teachers in their mission. Let's help them become present, engaged, and empowered, not distracted, not disengaged, but equipped for a future they can and want to shape. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'd like to invite Ms. Kayla Gray, and I believe it says Eddie Umani Kovar. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Hello, good evening. So my name is Kayla Gray. I am one of the behavioral health counselors that we have in the school district. And I cover all of elementary school and then both high schools, so elementary and middle school.
And again, I'm Eddie, I see two board members. I am the behavioral health counselor that works primarily with the middle school and the high school.
So sometimes you guys might hear us refer to as behavioral health counselors or BHCs, or sometimes even SEV therapists. So Eddie and I are both licensed therapists, and we kind of have a lot of names. So BHC is short for behavioral health counselor. And our whole program, which includes our partners therapist, Allie and Melissa, is a social emotional behavioral program. So we have a lot of little words that we go by. But we wanted to come here tonight just to tell you guys and share with you guys a little bit about our position. Lauren and I were up here last month and we realized like, oh, maybe you guys don't really know a whole lot about our jobs and what we do here. So one of our main duties as BHCs is individual mental health therapy. So we go into the schools and we provide therapy services for our students. A lot of our students receive them because their mental health days are so great. Anxiety, depression, sometimes suicidal ideation on the very far, realm of things, all the way to friendship struggles, attendance. That's the big thing that we've been working on lately, is trying to get kids here out of school. And then teaching them about what is mental health and what are coping skills. A big thing that we're also focusing on is building their resilience. So helping kids understand that they can come back from hard things and we can do that. This year alone, we have had over 100 referrals. As of tonight, over 100 referrals. So Eddie and I, we primarily kind of do general education students. We hold a few little exceptions here and there, but we already have over 100 referrals, and we're only in October, so it's a huge need that we have here at the district.
And given the need that our district has to provide mental health services, Kelly and I have put a lot of extensive work into our internship program. So we are licensed therapists. We're able to also have interns work under us. So we have worked really hard this year to refine our program so that we can recruit quality interns to help support more students and their mental health needs. This year we were blessed to have 5 interns. And when each intern takes around 8 to 12 students, so on top of the 24-hour, we try to stick to our 25 to 30 range. So us two alone are working with 50 students, right, at minimum. Now we're able to support 50 additional students with our interns. So we really are trying to be creative to meet the needs of our students here in our district, because we really do have passion for trying to provide the best services that we can. Thanks to the Zen booths, honestly, that's been a tremendous help, because now we have the additional private space that we can to have us as clinicians and our interns use the space to support the students that need the mental health.
With those Zen booths, in years prior, we haven't necessarily always had the availability of space to assign a full caseload to our interns. So these spaces that we have and that are coming to us are huge and tremendous. This is actually Eddie and I's both our 3rd year, and it's been very evident from the very beginning that this is a very special community and a very special district, and we are just so proud to do the work that we do and so thankful that we have here. Do you guys have any questions?
We're good. Not really.
Okay.
But I'd love to sit and chat after, that'd be great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. You don't have to wait, I can find you. All right, I'd like to welcome up Caitlin, I believe it says Haney. If I'm wrong, I apologize. Welcome.
Good evening, you got it right. Might be the first of anyone that's ever tried to pronounce it. So good evening, my name is Caitlin Haney and I'm a school psychologist here in UCaipa. This is my second year working for UCaipa, but ninth in the profession. We have 9 amazing school psychologists in our school district, and our roles are comprised of many things, but primarily we have a pivotal role in determining the supports, services, and placement for our students in special education. We do this through student interviews, observations, collaboration with parents and staff members, administering cognitive and academic standardized assessments, and then putting all of that data together, analyzing it to determine eligibility. I have worked in other districts, and I actually interviewed here 3 times to finally get hired, and I am really thankful for that. Luckily, the 3rd time was the charm because UCaipa is such a special place. It's a beautiful town made up of many supportive and caring people. The staff at the schools I have worked at thus far have been very welcoming and accommodating. They truly care about their students and doing what's best for them. And when I speak with parents, it's clear how much they love their children and that they too want the best. I look forward to many years working in this beautiful town. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who came and commented during public comments. Moving on, we have our student board member, Ken Fong. Welcome.
Thank you. So happy October. I wasn't here for the last meeting, but I'm happy to be here today just to give a presentation of all the schools that I've reached out to since August and some projects that I've been working on as well. So if you want to go down, you can go down again. So in August, I reached out to Dunlap Elementary just so I could learn more about how their back to school went, because as a UCaipa high school student, I knew that the culture was very welcoming. We had a gauntlet with students giving high fives, but I wanted to also highlight other schools and how they were welcoming their students. So at Dunlap Elementary, the faculty were at the front of the schools giving students high fives or handshakes while music played in the background. I mean, how much better can it get? And there was also a poster in the front, or there's also a sign in the front welcoming the Dunlap Dolphins, those returning, but also new ones as well. Throughout the school day, students had enriching activities that they could participate in, including TK, who got to learn about their new school environment by doing a Pete the Cat scavenger hunt. And then also students had the opportunity to participate in a color run kickoff assembly, which brought new excitement for the student start of the school year. Another means of connection that Dunlap had is the Dunlap house system. I kind of think of it as Harry Potter, but it helps students have a family in their school. So the houses are based on different traits, such as House of Dreamers, Courage, Friendship, and Giving. And throughout the school year, they have house competitions where it helps to encourage school teamwork, but also school spirit as well. From talking to some, not personally, but from quotes from some students, it's clear that Dunlap Dolphins are very excited for this upcoming school year. One student expressed their enthusiasm, stating that they're looking forward to going to field trips to middle school as they are a 6th grader, and they're excited to see all the new opportunities they have in the future. So overall, it's very clear that Dunlap had a very strong start to the school year, and they're looking forward to upholding these positive attitudes as the rest of the school year goes on. And in September, I reached out to Mesa View. And Mesa View as well had a very incredibly strong start to school year, as mentioned from the site visits, starting off with the back to school night, having more than 500 students and parents attending the event. going to the UKIPA's National Night Out, where Mesa View helped to promote safety, school safety and spirit, where they also had 200 parents and students come out to support them as well. Something else that happened was the middle school's web crew. They welcomed 230 new sixth graders through an interactive and fun orientation. One Mesa View sixth grader said, "Web made me feel comfortable coming to a new school because I already knew friendly faces." And it really goes to show what Mesa View is doing and how it's creating connections between their students, especially those who are incoming, making them feel as if they're already home. Another component that welcomed their Mustangs was the Mesa View's first wellness center. It helped create a safe space for students who need it. And a student shared that the wellness center is awesome. It's a place where I can reset and feel supported. And it's just music to anyone's ears because it goes to show that the wellness center is serving the students by creating a safe community for them. And an eighth grader summed up Mesa View's road so far for the 25 to 2026 school year. They commented that there's something for everyone this year, whether you like sports, art, music, or just hanging out with friends. So we can see that Mesa View is creating an inclusive environment for their students, and they're ready to continue the school year with a strong mindset. And so as we go into October, we see YCHUS, actually this is still September, YCHUS and Green Valley Club Rush. So the Club Rush, the goal of it is to help promote activities for students to participate in throughout the school year. Although I personally wasn't at the one at Green Valley High School, I did know people who were there, and they said that it was an incredible opportunity for students just to come around and talk to different groups on campus, but also outside of campus that students could get involved in, such as the Youth Advisory Committee. At the Yucaipa High School, there are over 30 clubs that students could join, from academic, athletic to religious clubs, so there's always a place for everyone who wants to get involved. So as we move into October, I want to talk about one of the projects that I've been working on. And it was called the Disconnect to Connect Week. So this happened 2 weeks ago, and my main goal this week was to really educate students about phone usage, because after the Phone Free School Act was passed, which required all public schools to minimize phone usage, I knew that I wanted students to be educated about this topic, and I didn't want them to be thrown into it blindly. So the best way I thought is knowledge. Knowledge is very powerful. So throughout this week, I wanted to take that opportunity to educate students. So on Monday, I had a reflective poster on the garage door where students answer the question, "Who are you without your phone?" And it helps students think or reflect about the individual they were without a variable that dictated who they are so much, especially in this time. And some responses that I got were more social, more involved, more focused, more curious. So we can tell that and it took some students time to reflect about it, because some students just wanted to say, "Oh, I'm the same without my phone." But after they thought about it for a second, they had an answer to write down. And I think it shows that students understand that they can be a lot more, and they have a lot of potential beyond their screens. On Tuesday, we had a lunchtime game in the quad. It was called Head, Shoulders, Knees, Cup. Ironic because it's a game that students see from social media, but basically the premise of the game was students had to grab the cup first after following a list of commands. But the twist was whoever grabbed the cup first would have to say the prompt on the cup and get to know their opponent. So it was a way of connecting with students. And a lot of I made sure that the students didn't play with someone they knew. And it was a great way for students to connect with one another, and overall very interactive. On Wednesday, we had a drama performance showcasing how phones can impact our daily conversations. And they did their best to do it in a comical way so that it reached the students. And afterwards, my ASB members and I, we went around asking students what they took away from the event, what they learned, see if they were paying attention. But overall, that was successful, and I was very grateful to have the drama team support as well. On Thursday, we had the Phone Free Fair, where we had multiple organizations from inside the Yucaipa High School, but also from outside the high school come and help to achieve one of the three goals, whether that was educate students about the phone usage, helping them reflect about their phone usage, making them more aware, or just encouraging them to become more involved in the community overall. So some groups that we had on campus were Student Council, Link Crew, the Health and Biomedical Academy. Each group focused on a different aspect. So with the Student Council, we focused on upcoming events that could help students connect with their community, such as the upcoming blood drive in November. We also, with Link Crew, they're actually making friendship bracelets to help students find a way to disconnect from their phones, but also enjoying themselves and connecting with the peers around them. With the Health and Biomedical Academy, they were focusing on more of the factual aspects, so from physical health, how it impacts our memory retention, and also like our eyesight, to more of the mental aspect as well. So we had students who were teaching other students about those topics, and they were providing statistics and data about it, not just that it has a negative impact, but why it has a negative impact as well. Some of the organizations we had outside of school included the IPS East Valley, and they presented the 8 domains of wellness, connecting how phone usage can impact our health in various aspects. They had fun interactive trivia for students, just to test their knowledge and retention, and also to see if they learned from other booths. We had the Healthy Yucaipa Committee, which is a committee here in Yucaipa that hosts all of like the annual runs. I don't know if you have attended like the turkey trot or the firecracker run, but they're in charge of that. And especially since the turkey trot is coming up, they wanted to make sure that students knew about this amazing opportunity for them to connect with their peers, but also become involved in their community. We had the Youth Advisory Committee on site as well, because we are still looking for members, and it's a great way for students to find ways to get involved in the community, whether that's participating in volunteer opportunities inside the school, but also in the city as well. So from all the different organizations that were a part of this fair, students got to learn more about phone usage, not just why it's bad, but just overall the education about it was important and helping students reflect. And now to end it all off, on Friday, we had a guest speaker in the library, Mrs. Simon. She agreed to give a speech about why ultimately all matters for students to disconnect from their phone, because we could have done anything throughout the week, but it's up to the student to make the change. And Mrs. Simon is an incredible teacher, and she's phenomenal at making sure that we understand why it matters at the end of the day. So through her speech, she helped to emphasize why students should take that initiative to disconnect from the phones and to connect with the world around them. And she connected that idea with her book, with not her book, but the book she's teaching to her classes, The Anxious Generation. She connected it to that book, explained to students why ultimately they should make the choice to disconnect. But at the end of the day, it is their choice. But she explained that it does all matter in the end. So that was a way to kind of close off the entire week. Throughout the week, I gave a variety of tools for students to use to really see where they were with their phone usage and to see if they wanted to become more educated. But I can't force students to attend any of these. It's up to the students. Ultimately, I hope students were inspired by the week, and I hope that they feel inspired to make a change in their phone habits. And one of the things I really wanted to emphasize throughout this week was that phones aren't the issue, it's just how we use phones. And I think that was part of the education portion of the week because I believe that it's important that students understand that. One last thing, we built off of this week by holding a community service fair the following week, so last week, and basically there's a bunch of different organizations who have volunteer opportunities in Yucaipa, Redlands, and they came to show students opportunities that students could have to get involved in the community. We had Yucaipa, we had Yucaipa Animal Shelter, we had Youth Advisory Committee, we had the Ronald McDonald House. So we had a variety of organizations who came. It was a great way for students to get involved and another way for students to disconnect. So thank you.
So let me get this straight. You set up 2 full weeks of community involvement with exterior community members who came in and serviced our students because you set it up. And then you decided that 1 week wasn't enough, and you had to follow it up with 2?
I had support throughout.
Okay. Well done, thank you, that was an excellent report, and what is it that you wanted to do for a living? Sorry, not really sorry, for real.
I know I want to go into something sciencey based, but I'm not sure yet. See.
Well, thank you, that was very well done, thank you for that report, and the next time that you do put something on like that, we wanna know ahead of time, because we want to go.
Yes.
So well done, thank you very much.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else have any comments or questions?
I do have a question. What was the name of the book you said, Miss Simon History?
The Ancients Generation.
The Ancients?
The Ancients.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Also, thank you for 2 lessons that I'm now going to plan over what you did for my leadership. Anybody else? Yeah. Guys good?
Wow.
Okay.
We missed
Well
you
done.
last
Yeah, we sure did. Okay, I'm sorry, clerk member, but you have to follow. that
I do
presentation.
not wanna follow
Yeah.
that.
There you go.
Kim, that was phenomenal. My mouth, it's just open all the time. I'm wowed by you. That was just phenomenal and you speak so well and you have so many great ideas, so. Anyways, Cry Rock. Just a few little things. What we do at the meetings, we recognize people in Cry Rock, employees that have been there 5 years, 15 years, 20. Well, last time we celebrated Myrna Molina from our construction technology. She's a teacher there at Yucaipa High School, and she's been with Cry Rock for 15 years, so I thought that was cool. That was a really fun. There was a few more. I think there was one that was even longer, 30 years. Somebody at Colton High School, so there, goals. And then also, just a few things around Cry Rock. It is 3 school districts, Colton, Redlands, and Yucaipa. Multiple schools that have mechatronics students. They attended the STEM bots events. That sounds fun. I'm guessing they had fighting bots. I don't know. And so that were schools from several of the districts. And then also, oh, this was really interesting too. At Grand Terrace High School, they had medical students that participated in a live Zoom lecture on suturing. And it was provided by Grand Canyon University. And I just thought that was really cool. We saw they had artificial skin and they were actually suturing, learning how to do that. So Cry Rock gives a great opportunity for so many things for students to learn. And I just love the organization. So that's it for now.
Any comments on that one? Questions? Okay, moving on to our discussion action section. Item number 9.01. I am looking for a motion for approval on a second review for revised board policy 1330.
So moved.
And a second? Second. Take clerk Bannister or clerk Miller. On a motion from member Avila and a second from clerk Miller. All those, I'm sorry, are there any questions on this one? Comments? All right, all those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye, and motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.02, also a second review for revised board bylaw 9150. Can I get a motion for approval? So moved. And a second? First by Miller, second by Cruz. Any questions or comments on this one? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye, motion passes on a 5-0 vote. 9.03. Amendment to sub-guarantee project agreement for San Diego Community College. Can I get a motion for approval?
So move.
And a second? Second. First by Avila, second by Miller. Any questions or comments here? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.04. Resolution R10, the association, I'm sorry, 2025-26, the associate membership agreement. Can I get a motion for approval?
Move approval.
And a second? Okay, I'll get Cruz on that one. So first on Bannister and a second from Cruz. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.05, second review for board policy 3580, district records. Can I get a motion for approval on this one? Second? Second. First from Cruz and a second from Miller. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Aye. Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. 9.06, second review of board policy 3452. Can I get a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Second? Second. First from Avila, second from Cruz. Questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, and motion passes with a 5-0 vote. And at this time, I will recuse myself to the office for item number 9.07, which is in regards to softball and weight room projects. Hand it over to Clerk Miller.
Okay, 9.07. This is to approve the increase to the current contract allowance with Bow Construction for the softball and weight room project at Yucaipa High School. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
And a second? Second? I'll back. So from a first by board member Avila, a second by student board member Vam, with a backup by board member Cruz. Any questions or discussion?
I have some questions. So do we think this is the end?
Well, I'll start with the easier part of the question you didn't ask.
Did I ask with eyes?
Yeah, so when we looked at the item when it was brought originally, Mr. Klein, who guards the gates of the coffers strongly, we did a 5% change order, which is not industry standard. Industry standard is really 10%, and even a little bit more than that on occasion, depending on the scope of the project. So this isn't out of the ordinary, but if the board would like, Mr. Klein can give us a little bit of an update about where we're at this time, if that's okay with you.
I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Because I watch enough HGTV to know. You need to buy a steel beam. Somebody's gonna, or the floor needs to be fixed or something.
I can tell you this, it looks like it's supposed to look.
Yes.
Now, it doesn't,
Okay.
at least that. Can you give an update on where we're at with the project and how close we are, percentage of?
We are close with the project at the tail end. The sod, the turf was in last week. And all that, so the rain helps, so that's the outfield for the softball project. The backstop is going up and the bleachers are going up. Behind the home plate is up. Behind the home side, the home plate, that one's up, and the visitor side bleachers are in the process. It takes a little bit longer, because we have to have special inspections with it, with the welding. But then the rain kind of delays it, can't weld the rains. The weight room is almost about 95% complete. We're waiting to have the power energized to the weight room, and then SKC, the modular company, will come in and then they will paint the walls. They will lay down the flooring and then they'll prepare the roll up door, which is the final act, and then that one's 100%. So the goal is to be approved, completed probably within by the end of June.
By the end of October?
Yes.
all
Or just, oh,
of them? Okay,
The
so,
project as a whole.
okay, so I know from, home improvement stuff, the devil is in those last little, it's like the last mile, the last, do we put in the molding? So,
We currently do have a discrepancy list, it's a punch list.
Yeah.
If you will, so once all the base stuff does, then we go back and then we hit all this nitty gritty stuff, for instance, some of the valve boxes don't have the proper cover. It says water and that here. So it makes you guys switch off on that, and then there's some items that were damaged with vehicle traffic, and then they're gonna replace those at the end. So it doesn't get, another one doesn't get further damaged because they're.
so the goal at the end of this month is that the punch list would be gone through, or that we'd be working on the punch list?
I would like to say it will be done.
But what do you really think?
I think we'll be pretty close, and maybe in the beginning of November, which is fine. The weather has created a few days of delay. And then, we still gotta do the seal coating. It was supposed to have been done last Monday with the non-attendance day. But with soccer having an event at 5 o'clock for tryouts, and all the traffic and all that, it actually worked out that they were unable to do it. Otherwise, we would have had oil tracks everywhere. We're shooting for the 18th on Saturday to have that. We have let outside the JAF football program, they're aware of it. So that when they come into the football stadium to still do their event, they stay away from where all the asphalt was done, so we can seal it properly and they can cure.
We do have some things that we are working on for the construction team to remedy. There's been some flooding in the dugouts and there was conversations about the drains and the drainage earlier that the board was made aware of. And so some of those things on the punch list aren't what you would call, just fixing the wiring or putting a plate over the plug or something. Some of them are a little bit more involved, and so.
And I think today's rain is really gonna show us where the overcooling is gonna be concerned. So on the way out, I'm gonna swing by and take some pictures, because we have a project meeting tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah, it's actually kind of fortuitous that it rained, little stress test on some of this stuff.
And on the flip side, it's really good for the turf too, because it saves our sprinkler systems from running all the time.
Yeah, and rainwater, yeah, that's great, very good, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. All right, I have a motion, all those in favor of 9.07?
Aye.
Aye.
I vote aye, and that passes. All right. Is that 9.08? Right.
I'm looking for, you can move on approval for custom graphics at Ucaba High School, which is the purchasing and installation of custom graphics for student lounge room in the Thunderbird Cafe at Ucaba High School.
Move approval.
And a second, is that Cruz? All right, yes, you sure can. So I have Pam on a second, can I get a backup? You have some comments on this one? Superintendent Beeks.
I just wanted to share a little bit about this Thunderbird Cafe design that is being funded by Child Nutrition. So the students and the staff and everyone has been incredibly patient as this renovation has taken place. I'm sure board member Van, you have been very patient yourself. But one of the things that our Child Nutrition team thought about, which I really appreciate, was the fact that all the renovations were done in the kitchen for Child Nutrition's benefit. And there wasn't anything for the students to actually see. Like, why have we discombobbled all of our lines and done all this since the start of the school year? And so because the kitchen has been modernized, they wanted to take the Thunderbird Cafe and the lounge room, the student lounge room, and update it so it has more of a hangout feel. update the graphics to match what's going on the rest of the campus. And so I want to thank Child Nutrition for their thoughtfulness. Liliana is been working with the design, and you know, Anne has the purse strings, and she wanted to invest in the students for their experience. So I wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, that's very good.
Any other questions?
I'd like to make a comment. I think we've all gotten a couple of letters from high school students making suggestions about how to make lunch better. Well, this is what we're doing.
With a first from member Bannister and a second from member, student member Pham and a backup from Miller. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye and motion passes with a 6-0 vote. Moving on to 9.09, business services, the kitchen modernization. I need a motion for approval to, for the increase to the current contract allowance for the spec construction, the kitchen modernization project at Wildwood Elementary. First from student member Pham,
Back up.
from Agla, and from Cruz. All right, any questions or comments on this one? Input information, okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 6-0 vote. All right. Item number 9.10, piggyback legal bids authorizes the use of Redlands Unified School District to renew fresh produce for the child nutrition. I love piggybacks. Can I get a motion for approval on this one? Move approval. First from Bannister and a second from Cruz. Any questions or comments on this one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to item number 9.11. I need some approval on the purchase of updated multimedia technology from CDWG for Oakview High School.
Move approval.
From Bannister is on first and a second from member Cruz. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item 9.12, Calamasa Elementary School, need a motion for approval for the purchase of updated technology for cabinet switches and battery backup systems for the Vector USA for Calamasa Elementary School.
I'll second that.
First from Miller and a second from Bannister. Any questions on this one?
Okay, so battery backup systems that's not the solar batteries.
No.
Okay.
This is for the technology infrastructure for Calamasa Elementary.
Okay.
Anyone else? I see no further questions or comments. Can I get all in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Moving on to 9.13. The resolution for resolution R8 for the year 2025-26, Red Ribbon Week 2025, approval for October 23rd to 31st. Can I get a motion? Move approval. And Bannister is on first. Our second is Pham and a backup from. All right. All those, any questions on this one? No. All those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 6-0 vote. 9.13, human resources is a second review for revised board policy 4158. Can I get a motion for approval?
Move.
I'll
From
second.
Avila and a second from Bannister. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Item number 9.15, a new job description for principal of expanded learning. Motion for approval. Second.
I'll second.
First from Miller, second from Cruz. Any questions?
Can we get some information on this?
Yes, one of the things that we have been working on through the current STARS program that is being contracted to the city of Yucaipa is that started years ago, and it's been a great partnership. But now that we have the ELOP money, Extended Learning Opportunity Program money, we know that there is a lot more that we can do with that funding. And also when we look at the needs that our students have, we wanted to make sure that we had someone in place that could help oversee and support that program. And that we could work through some of the things that we can do, like attendance recovery, because that's another thing that Mr. Kirkland and Dr. Anderson's team has been working on. And then also using that time in a way that our students are actually, besides a park and recreation field, would be getting instructional pieces. So we're looking at doing an overhaul of the program, and starting with a principal for that position specifically will help us to be able to start working with the city for the changes that we would like to make.
Okay, I have a question. So what's the source of that funding? Is that through the state?
Yes.
Is on the state? Thank you.
Yes.
And that this person would be covering multiple sites, correct?
Yes, at some point, as we inch our way through revamping the program, we will probably come back to the board with additional positions. We actually met with Megan Wolf from the city of Yucaipa today to kind of go over the plan that we've started. So Mr. Stoll has been working with Dr. Anderson to see what we can put together. And I think that it'll be beneficial to our students and parents as we dedicate more time to it and revamp it.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, with a first from Miller and a second from Cruz, Stella, all those in favor?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye, motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Are there, moving on to consent calendar, are there any items that need to be pulled for consideration?
Not this evening, thank you.
Anyone else from the board like to pull any items? All right, seeing none, I need a motion for approval on the consent calendar.
Move approval.
And a second from, first from Bannister, second from Avila, all those in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion passes with a 5-0 vote. Informational. These following items are informational, and as we move through them, if you have any questions, please just let me know. Item 11.01, any questions on this one? All right, 11.02, receive administration regulation 3516. Questions or comments? Information? Yes, ma'am.
So this is one of the updates that Lance is working on through safety, and I just wanted to point out that we will be needing to do fire drills in the first 10 days of school. So I'm saying that out loud, the first 10 days of school, we need to do fire drills.
Okay, any other information on that one needed? Nope. 11.03, question on a review for board policy 3515, in security information questions. 11.04, any questions or comments for board policy revision 3540, transportation? None? All right, 11.05. And this is administrative regulation 3541.1, transportation for school related. Any information to begin?
I can give some brief information just so that everyone is aware. So there's a when we have parents or employees drive students, we have a Department of Motor Vehicle records. And so with this new regulation, what it will look like for school related trips is that as we get reports of maybe a driver, let's say Cali Banks runs a stop sign, and I get a point for that on my DMV record. And then maybe Cali Banks is on the phone and holding it instead of using a hands-free. Never made happen, but again, I get another point. I'm still able to drive, and we looked at these things. These don't include reckless driving of any kind, high speeds or things like that. But the things that you maybe roll a stop sign or those. So what if you have 3 points, then we will be calling, and we will have to wait until points fall off before you're able to drive. That's for example.
Any other questions on that one? All right, moving on to 11.06, the battery energy storage system. I would like to at this time call up Amber Tavis. Never mind, I'm not going to call.
Can I take this one?
Yes, you can.
Thank you. So I wanted to bring this back because the board had a workshop to talk about what we could do to help have some kind of backup for any emergency that we might have. And we were looking at that time to work with NG, which is now a different name, Optera, but we'll call it NG for old time's sake. And SoCal West Electrical that we work with both companies extremely well. The projects that have been done with electrical have been beautiful with SoCal West. And then of course, we've had a lot of good success so far with working with Optera, NG on our campuses. That's been a great partnership. So business services, we held a meeting to talk about the system that we might be able to blend the companies together. That was what the board had asked us to look at, because both companies are well respected and have done well for us. And we were under the notion that there had been prior conversation from our prior CBO with Optera, and then there have been other conversations with SoCal West. And so explaining to both companies that we wanted to honor on behalf of the board from that meeting that we had, that special board meeting workshop, so that we could see how the two could partner. And so Mr. Klein and Mr. Johnson and Amber Tavis, we were all there, and we worked through about a few minutes of very technical things, and then really basically what I just said to you was what I said to them, that the board values both companies. And so as we worked through maybe what could happen, it really became about what wouldn't happen. And so later, the next day, we received a letter from NG that said that they felt like it was better that we would go a different direction. And so this isn't to discuss that, but we wanted to give you an update that we were still working on it. And now we think we have resolution and can make a recommendation for you after you hearing from both companies. And so we know what the concerns were with both of them, and then the positives for both of them. So what we will do in our next board meeting is bring you an item where there can be discussion action that will make a recommendation. But I wanted to just update so that everyone knows that's a very important piece that we want to do at Yucaipa Hospital, so we have that battery backup.
Yes. Any other questions on that, comments? And then, okay, moving on to 11.07. Ed service, this is a district for Williams uniform complaint report summary. Any questions or comment on this one? 0, yes, that's right, we have 0. That's good. Item number 11.08, receive the revised administrative regulation 4032, reasonable accommodation. Any questions or comments on 11.08? See none, we will move on to section 12. Any additional administrative information?
I would just like to thank Mr. Johnson, Adam, and Anthony, our custodial supervisor. They held a great barbecue for the custodians on our day off. Well, it wasn't our day off, but what was the day? It was a non-student day, non-teacher, non-student day. It was a great opportunity. Custodians from all over the district were at Parkview Middle School, and we had the opportunity to stop by and just join in the fun after they had had a barbecued lunch that Adam and Anthony made. And so that was a really nice team building activity. We got to sit at the tables while they all won gift cards, and they made sure everybody won, and so that was nice. And we were able to just chat with them and see how things are going. So it was a very positive event, so thank you for that. And then also, this is a big announcement, the vans for the VTP program have arrived. Yay! We're so excited. So as you know, when we were making the move of the BTP program to adult ed, one of the concerns were the vans, because they're used to transport students to their jobs, and normally they were sharing with Yucaipa High School. So that was kind of a nice thing that the board did, allowing us to purchase those 2 vans. But because they were 12 passenger vans and we needed to be them 10 passenger vans, so you don't have to have a special license, the retrofitting for that had to take place, plus they had to come from out of state. And so we finally have them in our parking lot, and we will be taking them, and they're beautiful. I can stand up in them so that they're, well, sorry.
Big deal.
Wow. But they are very, very nice. They're the nicest vans we have, so they're beautiful. So I want to thank Dennis and his team with Leslie. They did an amazing job tracking them down, getting them here, and listening to us gripe every day. Are they here yet? Are they here yet? So we're excited to take them over to the BTP team so that they can have their own vans. I know Mr. Johnson is working on making sure they can be secured over on Sixth Street. So I think we're putting a swing gate possibly so they can drive them in and they'll be right by the classrooms and we'll be able to lock the vans in there to help avoid any vandalism or anything that could happen. But maybe we'll drive by and wave at you next board meeting. So that is it.
Any board member comments starting with Ms. Finn?
I do. I want to thank Ms. Miller for coming and speaking with us today. I just want to comment that I've had the privilege of having her as a sub, I think, twice. And she's very engaging with the students. I was in physics and she was checking over our posters and she was commenting how she liked the club we had in the organization, but she also made sure to tell us that there are two types of friction. So she said, kinetic and yeah. So it definitely shows that she pays attention because I know a lot of other individuals would glaze over that, but she made sure to catch that for us, and I really appreciate that. So thank you for sharing your opinions on the phone policy, and I really appreciate you being a sub in the district and everything you do.
Oh, thank you.
Member Avila?
Thank you. I want to reiterate some of the stuff that Mr. Stoltz talked about at the Mesa View Middle School, the concert. In a word, it was amazing. I was thoroughly impressed with how Mr. Kane has taken those children, and it was really very well done for the first year kids, little tiny babies. And they are doing so well. And the second year was even more impressive. And everybody stayed in tune. I mean, there was, it can never always be perfect, but for the most part, it was all seamless. And the third year, those kids are just phenomenal. And correct me, Mr. Stoltz, I think the third year orchestra was one of 16 in the state of California that was invited to perform and compete someplace at a national level?
Yeah, there's a regional performance in April or May that they were invited to participate in. Only 17 middle school and high school bands in California were invited to that.
So, and that's amazing. That was just thoroughly amazing. And kudos to Mr. Kane for how he kept those kids going. I mean, you could show that they had a lot of respect for him. Also, a couple more things. This is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. All of us know somebody, if not through friends, through family, of someone who suffered breast cancer. And some survived and some haven't, including my mother. So I just want to let everybody, just for the record, just be aware of that. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And finally, this is also Fire Prevention Month. That's something near and dear to my heart. And just because we had some fair weather or some rainy weather, all that's going to do is just bring some more greenery later this month. And just historically speaking, this is just David talking, edifying everybody. The last week of October is historically the worst month and fire season in California. Even though we're having fire season year round. Just personal experience and through data throughout the history of California, the worst is coming. So just be very aware, be very fire safe. That's it.
Well, thank you, David, for that.
I did earlier today in my other job, I did a presentation about Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And they gave me all these statistics to say, and I was just blown away, but I'm not going to bother you with statistics. But I do want to mention, breast cancer, they think of, it's all about the female, but there is a 1 in 729
ratio of men getting breast cancer as well. So it does not only affects the female, the male, and the family. So everybody, please be aware of Breast Cancer Month. There is a section here that we go by when we accept donations. And we go through that really quick, but even the littlest donation that is given to this organization goes a long way. And I saw this and I thought, how cute is this? That 1,400 wooden handcrafted toy cars were given to all kindergarten students at the school district from Linda Peterson and the Happy Factory. And I thought, oh my gosh, all of these wonderful little kindergartners got a toy car from this. So thank you for this organization for donating. But there are a lot of other donations that are given from $100 to toys. So thank you so much for the donations. A little goes a long way. And I wanted to recognize all the great events that you guys are doing and highlighting. And one of the things, I'm gonna mess it up, but the Father's March that Jamie was talking about. There are a lot of times where fathers don't feel recognized or don't feel that there's resources for them. And to see that there is a turnout, that's great. And well, that's all I gotta say. Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to say thank you to the behavioral health counselors that came and told us a little bit more about your program. That is something that's relatively new, and the more you can keep us up to date, the better. That's great. Another way of us taking care of our kids. I really appreciate seeing the ECC here and the great work that they do getting our students ready from the very, 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 very beginning. So thank you, everyone, and welcome Sophia Wagner to the team.
All right, I'll try. This is amazing. Michael Heckman, I think he's here. This is so cute. I hope our students get a chance to do this. There's some really great things. The book's adorable. It's just really, really cool. And you got to start young, learning how to sort everything. Because it's kind of difficult. We were just saying we're gonna put the poster up in our house so we know.
Yeah.
And then Miss Addie Miller, thank you. Her and I've had a lot of debates about this, and I appreciate it. I appreciate your energy, and I know you love being a sub, but I can't wait until you finally become a teacher one of these days. And then the behavioral health counselors, that was awesome. I really enjoy that. I like when people come and talk about what they do and everything. That was, it was great to hear that. Caitlin Haney, I'm glad you tried 3 times and I'm glad we have. And then Kim, wow, just wow, you're amazing. And then Dennis, thank you for everything when it comes to your meetings in the morning. You talked about going by there right now. What time is it? And gonna take pictures. So I appreciate that. I appreciate all the information that you gave us too. So thank you.
Okay. Pretty much everything they said, as well as I just want to give a shout out to the speech and debate team. They had their first tournament this weekend in Cajon, I believe, and I think they finished second. Yeah, they finished second. So just wanted to say glad we're moving right along. Day 40, you said?
It's a little over 40.
All right, I look forward to going and checking out those Zoom rooms. Feels like, yeah, it's been a long week this one.
47.
All right, that is all we have for this evening. We will adjourn at 8:08.